this one. So
Woo!
finally getting those Russian announcers into the game. So here we go. We're already starting it up with the Clockwork Cogs.
Yes, we are. We kind of knew that was going to happen.
But look at this.
How efficient are they, though?
Yeah,
OG can get all of them.
They're actually committing a whole lot of heroes to this one, not really going out that much. And Shadow Fiend's only gotten 3 souls. Like, it doesn't really seem that they're as coordinated as they could be. So maybe they'll get better. The thing is, Clockwork can't be attacking the cogs at all because he destroys.
Yeah, you have to keep 3 heroes to get full efficiency out of this. I will say 3 at a time is pretty average. That's not like the worst I've seen, but it's could be better.
I think Sane is giving up. He's like, no, I just want to go and pick up some bounty runes, guys. Now, I don't know if Canton are going to be trying to take advantage of this at all.
No,
they're not.
They haven't
really made any kind of foray onto the enemy side, and their warding isn't as aggressive either. They just put it up on the high ground over here. So enough is going to walk over to the rune slot. So they are going to pick up 3 out of the 4, I believe. Trying to get that.
And that's something. Press. Oh man, Puck put that word down right in front of Terrorblade.
Oh, wow. Does he actually? No, he doesn't get the jaunt away. This could be really bad for Lacuna. Going to get slowed down by the reflection. Exactly what Wolferzu needed there to get the kill. This is
good Dota player holding his level 1 skill point. I'm proud of him.
This is terrible. So 3 out of the 4 runes go to Canton. They get the first blood.
Yeah, they're up like 550 gold to start the game. Oh, yeah. Almost 750. Yikes. The only thing that would have been the icing on the cake is if Rubik killed the courier too. Just went straight for the mid lane and just jacked the courier.
That would have been the worst start ever. And I mean, Sane hasn't really even gotten that much on the mid lane. He's sitting at just 65 damage per hit here, which is not really as good as that start can get you. Double burrow strike over in the top lane, and enough has actually gone for the degen aura to start. DTito's trying to chase him down. PMA Dota needs to get another burrow strike, but he's not going to have enough mana for it. So 1 more kill goes the way of Canton, and it's pretty much nothing. Well, only a courier kill, as we were talking about, short of a disaster at this point. Yeah,
in reality, it doesn't matter what the Omni and the SK start, but in general, they shouldn't be getting a kill before they get level 2. But just think of how much scarier they get once they have that. Then they get Caustic and they get the heal on top. It's absolutely a terrifying duel lane once they both get to that level 2 mark.
Yeah, that's actually ridiculous how much aggression they can have there. And already Jericho is having a much better lane than he did in the last game. He's currently 10 for 3 against Shadow Fiend's currently 0 last hits in that lane. I believe he's just gotten 1 denied. PMA Dota is going to get caught in by the cogs over at top. He does get the bro strike out, but the arcane curse isn't going to be enough. He gets a heal from enough, and that's going to keep him alive. DT Toast now taking a lot of damage from this one. Enough is going to chase him down. He needs the degen R to work a little bit better, but the cogs are going to push him back. Now Effie looking for the kill on the PMA Dota, who's in the trees, trying to stay safe. Arcane curse is going to be avoided by enough, and the body block is okay from Arc to keep the silencer alive, but all these heroes are solo. Enough still wants to go in. He's got no mana though. He does have the mango available. All these heroes are so low, and right now Omni Knight and Sand King have made an absolute mockery of this lane so far.
Like, the Sand King's basically toying with them at this point. He has no business staying in this lane. No regen, no mana, no health. Just go home.
I don't know, he's just kind of sitting there for swag. Interesting, John out from Lacuna is not going to do any damage to Wolferzu at all, who's already had a good start to this lane. Now Rubik's going to start in with the illusions he's just picked up to force Lacuna back.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that orb was. That was odd.
It felt like he was trying to do some kind of harass to Wolferzu, but it kind of missed him.
Yeah. Huh. Alright, I will say this now. If you're going to be dual offlaning against a tri-lane, magic sticks are like your best friend. That's how you get a burst of health to turn something. That's how you get enough mana to get an extra spell cast. I'm probably taking stick over boots in this lane.
Puck just wants to move faster, I guess.
This is true.
And honestly, with just 2 heroes down here, It doesn't really feel like a stick is going to be too terribly effective right now. John is going to get
No, for
on
top
some
lane.
maps.
For the
Oh,
Omni
for
and the
top
SK.
lane. Oh, yeah. That's right. And Kuna is going to be dropped back. No Metamorphosis committed for this just yet. And meanwhile, back at the top lane, Enough has the Purification available. He just has the hammer, though. He doesn't even need it. He really doesn't. He'll just keep on chasing him down with the Orb of Venom. He has Brown Boots and an Orb of Venom over a Silencer who has currently no move speed items at all.
Yeah, Omni go fast. Orb of Venom is really hard to run away with, especially when coupled with Degen.
Degen, Orb of Venom, and then the Omni also has Brown Boots. Like, that's just bad news bears for anybody that shoots up to the top lane. And look at again, there's going to be another double Burrow Strike possible. Okay, he's just going to decide to Burrow Strike out.
He would have died if he went in.
Yeah,
Omni only went level
swaggy.
1 heal. Second point in Degen.
Right now, this is
like
just
this is the Omni.
lane.
This is the Omni build I go when I'm like 1v1, and you just have a whole long lane to run somebody down. But I feel like the extra point in heal is just more valuable. But either way, it's a build decision choice. Neither of them are wrong.
And again, the Sand King is just going to continue to be effective on the map, even getting the stack off on the camp before he gets back to the base.
Shrines are actually up. They could just use some Omni mana top Shrine and then look to go right away again. But this is getting Omni some solo XP, which is very, very nice in terms of their combo.
Taking a look at the last hits then, Omni Knight hasn't been doing as well in terms of CS. Juggernaut and the Puck are doing quite a bit better than him, but if you look at the pressure that he's putting onto the enemy lane, he's actually done so much and has really kept the Juggernaut's farm down in comparison to the Terrorblade. Now they walk right back in on to the jungle, getting the ward out. Just looking for
Yeah, the issue in this top lane is they're not getting enough kills with the amount of regen they're having to use. They keep having to run back. Like, securing this kill on clock would be huge.
It might work out. He needs to get the cogs out, but he's actually going to keep himself in here. Now, the Blade Fury is actually pretty good, but the damage is still pretty huge. They managed to still kill off PMA Dota, and Enough is still going to walk around in that lane. Very difficult to kill here, but then so are Cupertino, and Arcane Curse is going to once again be used. Arc chasing down the Omni Knight here. He needs to get that heal up, but he wants to wait until the Arcane Curse is over. Now the Curse doesn't do a huge amount of damage to him, and Silencer is still trying to chase him down. We'll take a little bit more of that glaive of wisdom to try to kill him off there.
Ooh, that's enough.
See ya, baby.
This is just sloppy. What happened to the team from game 1? The tri-lane's starting to fall apart.
They're trying to be really aggressive, and they did do it onto the lane a little bit, but now the rest of the lanes are, feeling a lot of the benefits of not having this pressure on them. So personally,
well, even this lane, they're so far behind in XP now that they can't even do this aggro dual lane. They forced the tri-lane to stay up here. That's the one merit to this aggro lane. But the Jug is over-leveling the offlaner.
They're going to try to go again onto Arc, who does not have enough mana for the Blade Fury. He does have the Magic Stick available, and he's not going to use it at all. Might have given him a couple more seconds against that. But
well, if he just spun Phase Boots all at the same time, it probably would have worked. I don't know if the stick was on cooldown earlier, though.
The stick wasn't on cooldown.
That's just a disaster.
This game is full of disasters. Someone get some Toby
It really
Warner
is.
here.
We got some clowny shenanigans going on. That's the way I'm gonna word it.
Wolferzoo is just farming over at bottom, staying in the corner thanks to the cogs. Now he's going to try to get away from the Blade Fury, but he's now going to die from that. Doesn't have the Sunder available either. Decided not to level that, thinking he wouldn't be under a whole lot of pressure. It's like Shadow Fiend just denied the word away from a very sad Sand King.
Yeah.
So this match is actually shaping up kind of weirdly. Shadow Fiend's regained his spot as the top CSer on the board here, and there have not been as many kills in favor of Canton this time around.
The game just feels slower paced, and I feel like this is going to give Cupertino a little bit of an edge. It's going to make the game a little more even going into the mid game. So I don't think we're going to see anything close to the blowout of the last game.
Hogs over at bottom, and that's your Omni Slash for the kill just before the Purification came back off cooldown. Now instead they decide to use the Metamorphosis at top.
That meta should easily take this tier 1. And that's the kind of tempo they need to start taking. Juggernaut, though, is going to be able to trade out bottom tier 1 as well. This is going to make it hard for either carry to farm the jungle, and that's a lot more important to Terrorblade right now. You have a lot of downtime between metamorphoses, and you have to farm safely at some point during that. So this is actually a very good trade for this Dire squad.
They're also getting some pretty good farm on Shadow Fiend. He's getting his power treads up, already has a Ring of Aquila, so his damage is looking pretty good for the early game, as well as his survivability.
That is so many starter items on him, though. Like, so much of this net worth is tied up into him. Now he has no inventory slots to expand. Like, obviously, Moondrop or Raindrop is very disposable, but I think he was just trying to build to survive the burst coming out of Lina when she hit 6, which she did manage to do that. So that's a nice little boon for him. The fact that this Lina hasn't really gotten any kills is huge so far.
I think it's also just been the fact that Canton were investing so many resources into the top lane. It didn't really allow them to put as much pressure onto the Shadow Fiend as they would have liked to. Starting it out onto Naps here. Lukuna is going to be able to get that jaunt and gets the Dream Coil out on the 2, but the Lukuna Blade is going to be hitting onto Juggernaut. They're still going to be able to take down Naps here. The only kill that Cupertino will find in the mid lane, but that's another +2 intelligence for the Silencer, who's now at 6 stolen.
Yeah, all in all, pretty nice use of the coil. They didn't have Omni Slash up or any of the other skills to make that a great team fight, but they do manage to secure a Rubik kill. They're going to be perfectly content with that one.
This is a very different Canton than we saw in game number 1, and Cupertino seemed to be the ones with a few more of the answers here. They're probably going to try to put a little bit of aggression on Desane here, and Wolferzu does not have the Sunder still. He's going to go right for the Shadow Fiend, but here come the rest of Cupertino. Can they be able to pick up this Shadow Fiend? Requiem Souls comes out. PMA Dota still trying to get out. Arc goes to the backside. He picks up the kill onto enough. Wolferzu does get back. PMA Dota, though, is not going to be as lucky, as Lina still tries to get a couple kills on the backside. Clockwork is going to fall. So it's at least one return kill for Canton, but they still lost their entire top lane duo to that fight. Oh, nearly got that deny. It was pretty close.
Yeah, strange stuff there from Wolferzu. He doesn't have Sunder yet, and he's level 8. That's not totally out of the ordinary. But he didn't use meta there. I'm not sure why he was so hell-bent on saving it, but if they're not looking to push a building in the next 30 seconds, like, holding that meta there made that a disaster. They weren't able to bring down the Shadow Fiend in time, who ended up not even falling in the first place. It just started that fight off awful. It let a Requiem go off.
I mean, I even feel if they had the Sunder there, that would have been a dead Shadow Fiend.
Sunder or using meta, either one would have worked just fine. They got him to about 20% health, but that's not dead.
Well, he does use the meta here to try to take the tower down. We're doing some pretty good damage to it, but here comes Silencer over to the side. Enough, he's going to be taking a lot of damage here. And Wolferzu, he still doesn't have a Sunder. He's forced to just sit in the middle of the entire fight. Purification tries to keep himself alive, but it's not going to happen. The Terrorblade's going to fall. The Silencer's dead anyway, but the Sand King is going to fall as well. Jericho, can he actually get out of this one?
They could
just going to chase after that one.
They can absolutely turn this.
They start with the Telekinesis, going to hit onto all 3 heroes, stunning them there. Dragon Slave doesn't hit on the too much, though.
No, you miss both spells. If you connect with the 2-man stun there, though, you absolutely get the turn. Just really unfortunate. The Terrorblade's still on Agi treads, so when he did get a Sunder, which he got right before he died, he didn't have enough mana. He's blown all of his other skills while still on Agi treads.
Did he get a Sunder? It's not on cooldown.
No, like, he has the skill now. He didn't even have it before.
Well, maybe he'll be able to get it here. Puts it on to Effie. There's a Silencer ultimate coming through, and they literally can't do anything to save Wolferzu anyway. So he's going to die once again.
Back-to-back deaths on your hyper carry. That's a disaster. And your Sand King's still 1,000 from Blink. Your Lena's a fair ways from Bloodstone. Rough game on the side of Canton here.
Yeah, this is just not exactly what we expected after seeing game number 1. It looks like the roles have pretty much been reversed here, as Cupertino are the ones shoving it down Canton's throat.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like each game so far, you can point out a huge glaring discrepancy in their picks. Like, to me, it was the Lifestealer Magnus combo. It was just very disjointed to me. And then in this game, it's definitely this TB. They've got a very fast stun-heavy lineup. It's okay at playing 4 Protect 1, but TB's just not been doing very well right now. Like, TB's competitive win rate has plummeted.
Oh.
And Jericho
going to miss over at top. They managed to pick up Sane before that Requiem of Souls comes out, and without any help from their team, they actually TP'd 2 heroes over there to try to defend the tower, and then only the Shadow Fiend remained. So ends up being a pretty nice kill for Canton High School.
Yeah, you have so many stuns on this lineup. I mean, the Rubik came in to save the day there after the missed LSA.
Another one. He's going to use the Blade Fury immediately. Maybe they can get Arc after this one. They're going to try to slow him down with enough. The D10 are going through. LSA is going to hit. Jericho does not have the Laguna Blade, but they're trying to still go after Arc. Doesn't want to get hit by the cogs, but even so, Jericho does. And now still trying to chase after Arc. Wants to get the Purification, but he's not going to be able to as Jericho uses the boots to get away. And now Lena's going to be forced to stay there with the battery assault still going through. Guardian Angel used perhaps a little bit too late to try to save them, but here comes PMA Dota with the Epicenter. It's a very good one, but still manages to do enough damage to pick up the kill onto the Clockwork. Now, Wilfred Zeus still wants to get aggressive here, but he's going to be forced back. It's just a very strange
man,
fight.
So many shenanigans. The Rubik tried so hard to give that kill over to Lena that he just didn't Fade Bolt. He could have just Fade Bolt to Juggernaut at the very start, gotten the kill there. Instead, he gets bounced by Cogs, out of range, not able to Fade Bolt anymore, and they just can't clean up the Juggernaut as he was running away from Healing Ward. Oh, man. Then you got Wilfred Zoo just, like, waddled in there. Did manage to hold strong.
The Guardian Angel definitely helped him to put out that damage.
It did. It was fairly close to saving, I believe it was Rubik that dropped last in that fight before him. Was it Rubik or Sand King? Whoever dropped at the very end. But it was Jericho, actually. It was Lena. But not quite in time. So yeah, the one thing I've seen a lot in this, though, is teams have not been using smokes very liberally or effectively yet. And to use a smoke, you need 2 things. You need pushed out lanes and you need vision of where they are. And this, I mean, both teams have decent wave clear. You've got Puck and Shadow Fiend on one side. You've got Lena, Sand King on the other. You have decent ways to shove out the lanes, but I want to see some more aggressive smoke rotations. I think both teams definitely have the options right now between Blink, Dream Coil, and Hookshot on the Dire Squad, and then you've got Rubik Lift and Sand King Burrow on the Radiant.
Silencer ultimate comes through as Sand King gets pretty much blocked out of those trees by Nats. Now the Terrorblade forced away. He does have the Sunder, but he just can't quite get that off. And it's going to be 3 heroes dead on the mid lane very easily for Cupertino. They can just pick up the tier 2 tower in the mid lane as well. They're cleaning these towers up off the map. Very easy fight for them after that smoke rotation caught Canton well off guard.
Yeah, just nuts how much damage they can do once they're into the fight. They just got to get there. And this game, they're absolutely finding ways to get there.
They continue to keep the pressure onto Canton High School. Well ahead in terms of kills. And their Shadow Fiend, we take a look at his build. He's getting much closer to his Black King bar, which is definitely going to help him out a huge amount here. It pretty much forces the Terrorblade to have quite a bit of farm, or Omni Knight to be in a good position for the Guardian Angel, at least for most of that BKB.
Yeah, and it definitely signals to me that Cupertino knows that they're in a good position right now, and they want to pressure their advantage. That's the kind of build you go if you're looking to push high ground in the next 10 minutes or so. So I want to see them, again, match the pace of the game to what they're doing. And I think they've got a better idea of what they want to do with this game. They're executing a lot better.
I'm going to use a Metamorphosis for it. For a pretty much dead already tier 1 tower. So I guess at least Wilfred Zoo is going to be able to farm through the jungle with this. Seemed very strange to just pop it to secure that tower, but I think it speaks to just how Canton are trying to read the situation right now. They feel like they're pretty far behind in this match, and they just have to pop that to even secure a tier 1 tower.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. It's just a weird spot they feel like they're in. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of this Dom that TV picked up. I was going to talk about it earlier and stuff broke out. You want a first item helmet with Dominator. This does give him a bunch of health regen, but that item's just been nerfed into the ground.
Oh, this is going to be really bad. Wilfersby pops the smoke over to the side, and he manages to get away from Effie, but here comes a hook shot. Another good smoke from Cupertino, and Canton, they try to get around here. Is the damage going to be in? Oh, he can't even get that Guardian Angel off.
It's so infuriating playing Omni into clock. All your spells take too long. Oh, man. Yeah, I actually almost saved him there. In reality, it would have been tough to ask for Canton to get there in time. But Sand King does have his Blink Dagger now, so if you get off that Repel and that GA and get a good Sunder, maybe the SK Epi comes in and you win a team fight there. But Clockwork Battery Assault, man, what a spell.
Honestly, though, I think that we possibly saw a flash of just exactly what Canton are trying to do here. I think that the execution has been extremely good from Cupertino, and it really has to stay that way in order to keep Canton on the back foot, because there is definitely a big possibility with this draft to get back into the game.
There is, but it requires TB to be involved in a fight that they win, and he needs to not die. And those are very hard things to ask for right now. The game will open up a little bit once Omni finishes these Guardian Greaves so that he can purge off Global Silence. I think that's probably the biggest thing right now that's causing them to struggle. And after that, I would assume we're going to see him go Force Staff so that he can force his way away from a Clockwork if Clock's doing that same exact thing to him. And once he gets to those two items, which is quite a ways away, then he can start playing true Protect the Terrorblade. And then it's just a question of how much farm does the TB have and how much damage can he do.
It's definitely something that he's going to have to work on. Meanwhile, we've got Arlena, who's been farming up pretty well. She's actually on her way to a Shadow Blade. Silver Edge could be interesting against this lineup, but I think she just needs some kind of way to get around the fights, especially while the Global Silence is there.
Huh. I feel like Helmet of Dom's a support item now. So we saw two changes in the last two patches. It got a Ring of Health instead of a recipe cost now. They upped the HP regen aura, and they made it so creeps have a little bit more HP. So it's got all the support attributes buffed up, but the actual raw stats, it used to give 6 to all attributes when it first got changed. It's all the way down to 2. It doesn't help you flash farm. It just doesn't give you a lot as a core. So unless that creep is going to enable you to make kills, like when Dom first came out, we saw Juggernauts grabbing it, and they just go grab a Purge creep and then Purge Omni Slash somebody and spin them down. And that was nuts. But our team is smoking right now. Something to keep an eye on.
I remember actually we saw Undying in the South American scene start to pick up the the Helmet of Dominator as well. Back when they changed it was just a ridiculous thing. Courier? Are they gonna waste their smoke on it?
For this. You know there's people up there.
Yeah, they see the Courier going back, so they're just going to keep their way over the top. They're going to use the Rocket Flare to try to scout this out. Jericho over to the side. Are they going to use the hook shot in? Or they just decide to go right for the Rubik of all heroes?
That's not enough out of this. Okay.
Goes. Now they do manage to pick up the Sand King, who's going to Burrow Strike away. And can they actually get out? He blinks over to the north, and they can't find him. So they basically just used a Global Silence for a Rubik kill, and a good evasion from Canton gets them out of trouble.
Yeah, they used almost everything. I mean, yeah, you still have Requiem, you still have Omni, but without the other skills, very hard for them to connect with those. So, yeah, that was really nice from Canton to only have the Rubik tanking the gank. Sand King made a pretty nice Burrow Blink there to get out. All in all, yeah, that is not what Cupertino wanted to see out of all of that commitment.
There was an illusion there, so they might have thought that they picked up the TB, but unfortunately, it's just the Rubik for that.
Yeah, as far as the Undying picking it up in South America, I feel like there's a trifecta of support items. You've got Mech, you've got Drums, and you have Dominator. And whatever one is the most strong at the moment, you might even be able to put Medallion in there. Those 4. They all sit around that 2k cost if you count it as the full Solar Crest. So it's whatever one is the best item at the time is the one that people are buying.
Can they really keep going for this one? I mean, Roshan gets scouted out by the Rocket Flare. They still want to stay in here. Dreamcoil is back up. They're going to hookshot over to the side. Nice block by Rubik. And Dreamcoil goes out onto Will for Zoo. The Rubik blocked the hookshot. And in any case, the epicenter goes out into DT Toast through the Blade Mail. Shadowfiend's going to get caught out in the river. Is it going to be enough to take him down? He uses a BKB. He's just so strong right now, but the Guardian Angel is going to be pretty strong. Yeah, there's still a huge amount of magic damage coming through. Naps over to the high ground. Will Pursue is going to get caught in the river. They really can't afford for him to go down here. He gets the purification. Is the damage going to be enough? It could be a man fight between Sane, but his illusion is hitting extremely hard, and the Death Requiem comes through. 3 are going to be dead on the Cupertino side.
Omni almost single-handedly carried that team fight. 4 dead now. Wow.
And they get a
He managed to save the TB from the initial wave of initiation. And then as Terrorblade was just about to fall, managed to jam one more purification that let him wand, that let him Sunder Jug. That was just so close to TB dropping and then that just going downhill quick. Instead, the meted TB managed to survive, get the Sunder off, get a new life pool. And from there, it just went all downhill from Cupertino.
There was also a pretty nice play by the Rubik that I referred to at the beginning of that one, where he just kind of stood over to the side of the pit and blocked the hook shot from coming in, which could have created a lot of chaos in the pit and possibly a really good start to the fight from Cupertino as well. But Naps was kind of already on that one, willing to give up his life so that he could keep the hook shot out of the pit.
Yeah. All right, you want your cool stat of the day?
Yeah, give it to me.
This one was one the Haas and I were laughing about because no one believed us. Who in this game do you think is probably or should deal the highest amount of magic damage to heroes?
Probably I don't know, Shadow Fiends.
If this was a pro game, it would be Clockwork 100% of the time.
Really?
Rocket Flare is the most filthy amount of damage because they can just take the talent for it at 15. They're chucking it out every 14 seconds. It should be an easy connection on 3 or more heroes in any sort of grouped up situation, a push, a team fight, anything. And every pro game that Clockwork was picked, barring like 1 or 2 where the team got smashed, Clock was the highest magic damage in the game. And that's with Alina's, Queen of Pains, Pucks. Like, Rocket Flare is just absurd.
Yeah, I guess that makes a little bit of sense. You can just keep on throwing that Rocket Flare. It's good for scouting as well.
Yeah, it is just a super versatile spell, and it's definitely a little bit underused at any level, barring the very top end of Dota. Like, I know when I play Clock, I don't have the most magic damage on it.
They're so close to finding Juggernaut over here.
Oh no, he's out.
He's probably out anyway.
Yeah, more than likely. I mean, worst case scenario, it's caught by the burrow and then you spend TPs, right? There's not really an easy way for them to break it.
Not really. Unless they just, like, will him to cancel his TP for some reason.
So, enough did go Guardian Greaves into Medallion, not going an escape method from the Clockwork. So, seeing that, if I'm Clockwork, once I know the Greaves are up there, that's my goal every fight, is just to find him. If you can hookshot the Omni and get him in a box, then you potentially can take the fight 4v4 with Omni not really having any impact. I think that's got to be his goal.
Canton High School, it looks like they've had a little bit of new life after those last couple of fights. They still have the Aegis on Terrorblade for another 2 minutes, I guess. Yeah, 2 minutes.
Yeah, the Roche fight alone swung them back into the lead.
You probably still want to put some pressure with this as well, so they'll make their way over to the top tier 2 and take care of that creep wave very effectively. And still with the Alpha Wolf following Wolf Zoo around, they're going to take that tower down very quickly. Looks like Terribly is going all stats with this build as well, picking up the Eye of Scotty after finishing up his Manta style.
Yeah, this is where I'm a little bit concerned. Yeah, I'm concerned with the Shadow Fiend item build at this point. The BKB was a little risky in just the fact that while it made him super hard to kill in that one team fight, it's not a farming item, it's not a positioning item, and it's still wearing down his BKB. He was going to have to get one eventually this game, no matter what. And by buying it this early and them not winning at this point, it puts you in this really awkward spot. And I don't really have words for his defusal pickup. It purges GA, sure, but you already have one of those on the Juggernaut. And it's just clunky on Shadow Fiend when you have so many other things you want. I'm just very surprised to see no Blink this game. Like Blink or even Shadow Blade. Like you have a Puck with Blink Dream Coil. Your dream fight is like Puck Blink Coil silencing 3 or 4 people and then Shadow Fiend Requiem's on top of it. But with no way to reposition himself, that seems like very difficult to pull off.
Well, Canton are still looking to keep that pressure on the Cupertino now. In terms of items that they're picking up, I don't really see a whole lot right now. They do have a Solar Crust on Omni Knight. Lena's now got a Force Staff on top of her Shadow Blade. She's going to be building towards a Hurricane Pike. Smoke out of Cupertino as that Age expires now on Wilfredo. He's a little bit far up. He's going to see Arc there. Possibly with the smoke breaking on them. Lacuna still could blink in and get the Dream Coil off, but they're going to go with a Metamorphosis onto the tier 2 tower. Are Cupertino ever going to decide to go in here? It's just Terrorblade on the front lines, and there's a lot behind him to try to save him. Bill of Discord is going to be doing some... Oh, nearly taking down the Puck. And that Dream Coil hits on to nothing over at mid.
That was...
I can't even see it anymore. It's right there.
As my friend affectionately calls it, he squidded. Like, you know, when squids get scared and they just, like, ink. That's basically what he did there. He's like, oh shit, press my buttons. And didn't do anything with them. But that's the problem right now. Without a way for Shadow Fiend or honestly Jug at this point needs the blink as well. Without them having a quick way to get in the fight and get your damage in and out, the Puck blink initiation just feels really lackluster. And if you can't use that initiation, you just don't have much. Hookshot's on a really long cooldown. Well, relative to how fast fights go, same with Coil. So they really need to find a way to all in these fights. You're going to press your hookshot, you're going to press your Coil, and you're going to go win or lose. You don't have the choice to keep just trying to clear waves and hold. At a certain point, you got to all in.
Well, Cupertino, they're going to try to go for bottom. Like, they're going to get scouted out, though, by this Hellbear. The Tomato Creep just walks on through and says, okay, I'm out of here. Have fun. You can have a great time in our jungle. Hope you enjoy your stay. And now Canton to be pretty much everywhere else except that side of the map. So we're still at a point where, you know, Cooper, like both teams want to have some kind of pressure. But in terms of fighting, they're not as confident to do it anymore. They realize that both teams have, you know, ways that they can win fights and ways that they can turn fights in their favor, and neither of them really wants to see it.
Yeah, I mean, it just all comes down to the fact that whatever it is, Canton can actually engage and disengage. Their initiation are on short cooldowns. It's Burrow Strike, it's Light Strike Array, it's Lift. You can go in and out of fights using those, and if you don't like the initiation, you can abort mission. But
TP with like a fidget spinner.
If you're Cupertino, you just don't have that luxury. Like right now, they see Lena bottom. This is about as good of a chance as they're ever going to get. Clock's trying. He faked the hook twice, but couldn't find a connection.
Wants to be Bulba. He's going to throw out that rocket flare. He's really thinking about it. He's not going to be able to hit that hook shot there, though. And right now, Canton, they still have a tier 2 tower to take in the bottom lane, so Jericho goes over there, clears it out, and maybe waits for the rest of his team to show up. That's the only remaining outer tower that they have to take here. Meanwhile, at mid, Sane gets really close to our Sand King, but PMA Dota is not going to decide to pull the trigger on that one, especially since the BKB is already there. Just respecting that for now, and Wolferzoo, I mean, what is Sane doing? He's pretty far away from the rest of his team, but he's still being super aggressive with his scouting tactics here. Smoke out from Canton High School. Wilford
Like,
doesn't get hit by it. There's a smoke forward. Oh, beautiful BKB by Sane. And they're going to use the Requiem right next to PMA. Not quite taking it down. Silence Roll is going to be there. That's going to be the Sand King down. But Wilford decides to walk in, uses the Metamorphosis, and you can actually hear things now. The Silencer ultimate is over, and they still want to keep on going. Effie's going to be able to get away. No stun onto him. Lacuna just gets the Yules out onto Jericho, making that case a little bit slower for Canton, and at least gets the rest of the team away. But it's going to be support for Sand King right now.
Yeah, and it's the support for Global as well. Like, that's a huge factor for them in trying to take these fights.
They still have the Metamorphosis going, so they really want to try to get the push. Still continuing on to the Tier 3 tower. They'll use the Manta style. Terrorblade and keep on going through this one. Forcing out a fortification. Most of these illusions are being cleaned up, and Wolfers is going to have to get a really good Sunder. He doesn't use it yet. Needs to get up there. He's going to pull the health away from a retreating Juggernaut, and the LSA continues to make the Jericho Lina attack very quickly here. Buyback on the puck.
That'll back them up a little bit, but they could still look to do
shot off the
something
mark, and
here.
Naps. What is Naps doing? It's like he thinks he's on the wrong team. Epicenter comes through. Burrow Strike on the 2. Can they actually turn this around? Looks like they might be able to. Naps is going to fall. Satan uses a BKB, but the damage has to be there from Terrorblade, who doesn't want to try to man mode onto the Shadow Fiend at this point. But Canton High School still look like they want to go in. Puck is going to be able to get out with the jaunt, and that was such a strange fight. Support still going down across the board. None of the cores end up falling.
That was just bizarre. Naps just walked into 4 of them.
I think he thought he was part of their team. He wanted to defect.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe that was it. Oh, man. Dota 2.
Twice as good as Dota 1. I don't know if that's true. I never played Dota 1 at all.
Pon was better. Pon was actually the best MOBA in its heyday.
So Lena's picked up a Crystallis here on the way to her Bloodthorn build. How do you feel about her actually going for the Crystallis first instead of the usual build-up of having the Orchid?
It's a little awkward. It does help their high ground a little bit. I'm more disturbed by the fact that she still has brown boots. Like, the Crystallis is...
Oh, hook shot in.
Huge
Jericho has been dusted. Yeah, he already got dusted. He's super dead ski. Tries to take one with him, but he decides to take the Shadow Fiend with him, which is probably not the best choice.
Yeah, that's a very tanky target.
Well, looks like Canton, though, they're going to try to trade their Lina for a Roshan. And Cupertino are definitely going to react to this one. Everyone's going to get scouted out by the Observer War on the high ground. With that Rocket Flare being there, Wolfers who gets that regen rune immediately canceled by Puck's orb. Maybe Cupertino want to go for this, but Lena's already back up.
Yeah, it'd be really risky. With Lena Bloodstone, she's already back in the fight. They just
decide to ignore that.
Maybe they feel like they have to.
They still have the global. It could work out for them.
Yeah. It just came up. Hookshot's up in 5. All their cooldowns are coming up very shortly.
This could work out for Cupertino. They have to take it down quite quickly. And you can see that the vision is really lacking here. They get the illusion into the pit to see how low Roshan is. They need to walk in. Here comes the epicenter. The windup is going to be interrupted by the hookshot. And the damage from Cupertino should be on the Roshan. They managed to pick it up. Sane gets the Aegis as well. Beautiful fight from them. And a beautiful advance warning of the incoming nuke from the Sand King.
Yeah, that's huge. The hookshot stopped all the Sand King initiation, and with that, Canton was just too scared to walk in the pit. So it cost a lot of ultimates for the Steyr squad, but they do manage to walk back claiming an Aegis. So a little bit of a dent in the gold graph after the kill on Lina and the Roshan.
Absolutely.
And that one has cheese. They could cut the lead another 500 gold by selling the cheese. Oh, 1,000 gold. Sorry.
Economic battles here.
Yeah. Man, 2 years ago at TI, there was a qualifier game that went almost 3 hours in China, and they had like stacks of 7 or 8 cheeses at various points in that game. It was bizarre. The interesting thing though is if cheese moves targets or even goes onto a courier, it becomes unsellable, even for the original owner. Yeah, actually, as soon as Shadowfiend backpacked it, I think it went. I don't know. It's weird. Cheese mechanics are dumb. So the question here, though, for Cupertino, you've got a nice little window of roughly 3 minutes from when Global comes back up to your Aegis expiring. And unless you're planning on taking this game extremely late, you need to try to get some sort of leverage from that. Whether that's just running around the map and dewarding with a gem, trying to go for that last tier 2 top. You got to try to get some forward momentum going with this rush kill.
We do start to see Canton trying to itemize against the Cog, so they've got their 4 staff on Omni Knight as well as the Hurricane Pike on Lena, so they do have a couple of answers to that one. And now Wilfrezu, he's also completed the Eye of Scotty, so the items are definitely arriving here for Canton, and will make life pretty difficult here for Cupertino as they try to take advantage of their Aegis. They do have the global backup. Yeah, he's at bottom.
Yeah, there was that whole 1 TB image hitting his tier 2 with backdoor protection on. Either way, he should go buy out right now. You've got Aegis for another 4 minutes. You should be able to get, well, 3 minutes now. Should be able to get your butterfly and buyback before you really need to use it.
Yeah, but look at this. They're going to go right for Arc, starting with the LSA. They're going to get the Laguna Blade as well, killing him off with that crit.
And it costs them almost nothing. Like, Laguna is a negligible cooldown.
They're even going to go Metamorphosis up for the high ground. They really want to get aggressive here, even against the Aegis. Global Silence is still there. And Wilfrezu, he's already used his Manta Style, so there's not really a good defense for this one. He just has to do the damage right to the Clockwork. Still has the Sunder available after that Silencer ultimate is done. But Wilfrezu is just going to sit on the high ground. Still has the Purification and all of that healing available from Omni Knight. He's going to get chunked down a little bit on the back lines. Wilfrezu, oh, he's going to get silenced by the Fairy Dust and the Waning Rift. Oh, that last raise is going to be enough to kill him while that Guardian Angel still went on. Now Jericho's going to get caught out a little bit over here. The Cogs are going to force him away. Enough actually manages to TP away, but Jericho is going to have to deny himself to get out. That was really aggressive from Canton there, going for a high ground with just a Juggernaut kill. Did force out 2 buybacks.
It was. You did get through the Aegis. You forced out 2 buybacks. You end up ahead in gold in that whole trade, and the Aegis is now gone, as are a bunch of cooldowns.
They nearly took the tier 3 tower down as well. I mean, if Cupertino can take the tier 3 tower or even the racks themselves, that would make the fight a little bit less appetizing, but I don't even know if they can get there.
I see quite a few players do what the Shadow Fiend did there, where they hold their BKB for their second life, but so much of his team committed with his first life there. Like, BKB Requiem would have been huge there just to reduce the damage that was being dealt. Like, that Lina hurts with the right clicks now, and you still have a meted TB.
Fadebolt is going to make this push really difficult for Cupertino, but they still want to go through. Lina's going to get Force Staff back, breaking the coil stun, but with the repel still on her, she's going to go right for DT Toast, taking that kill there. Beautiful double burrow strike by PMA Dota, and the Wilfrezu is going to get back in the fight as well. Uses the reflection back on the Sane, and they still continue to try to chase him. Laguna gets the Yule Scepter out on the PMA Dota, eats the cheese, but that is right before the Caustic Finale is going to pop, and they still want to try to go after this one. Jericho on the backside, they're going to chunk down Sane with all that physical damage. PMA Dota goes into the Sandstorm, and they're going to be able to take down the Shadow Fiend there. Now they need to defend their base a little bit, but only the tier 3 tower has gone down, and you can see Canton getting ready for a little bit more lane control.
Yeah, and they know for a fact that at least 2 of these buybacks are down. They know they're still on cooldown, were just used, so there should be zero reason Canton can't just start running at the base. Hell, meta's even back up.
Yeah, they regain control of bottom. Wilfrezu ready to go for this one. Shadow Fiend's going to be... He does have buyback right now, so it's going to be back in 45 seconds, but could be before that. But forcing out a Shadow Fiend buyback would still be a really good thing for Canton to do. So finally the Terror Blade arrives pretty much with the creep wave, and you still see those rocket flares coming through. Still a lot of damage from Jericho over on the low ground. Arc forced to blink away through the Blade Fury, and they're going to go right for the racks. Buyback by Shadow Fiend, and Canton are going to stick in here. The hook shot's going to come through. There's a Silencer ultimate, and again, Terrorblade didn't really wait with the Manta timing, but he might have the ability to continue to go through this one. Gets the Sunder off on the Sand. Now he has to try to man fight. Here comes the Epicenter. The Burrow Strike out on the 3. There's so much damage from the Sand King, and they're going to call it right here. And now Canton will be going on to your grand final to try to get that rematch against Power of Friendship.
Yeah, man. Just all in all, I mean, there were a few slip-ups there from the side of Canton, but overall, a very strong 2-game set. I think a lot of the slip-ups just came from picking TV. Like, it just felt a little disjointed with what the rest of the draft did, but then they hit the Guardian Greaves on Omni and everything started swinging back the other way. Once he didn't get globaled and could protect the TV and get a Sunder off, the whole entire game changed. So nicely done for Canton to realize their timings a little bit and take advantage of those. And yeah, just a little bit unfortunate from Cupertino.
Some really nice aggressive play as well.
Yeah, very true.
So
but that will wrap up this best of 3. Is that the only series tonight?
Yeah, that is the only series. The grand finals will be coming up at a as yet undetermined date. So thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully you'll be able to tune in next time for some more HSL action. But for tonight, for me, my co-caster Z-Rock, and the rest of the HSL, I want to thank you for watching and wish you good night.